for this time, we know that if we refer to different sources, as well as you see reading the novel itself, that is very important. See some extracts, read, you see some views, or to discuss, you see different parts. We know that this novel, we can say that enjoyed somehow some you see enthusiastic, you see, reviews, and at the same time it is very good for the praise of, you see, an author that is somehow deeply, you see, admired. As I mentioned in our previous session, as far as you see, I remember, admired by you see T.S. Eliot. Everybody, you see, knows him. Was deeply interested, you see, in this novel as you see one of the masterpieces among all, yes, you see, number of novels and number, you see, of years. Also, Ernest Hemingway even has mentioned, you see, this novel as one of the, you see, best novels and the best, you see, stories. And for a year, you see, listen, for a year, Gatsby sells about, you see, 50,000 copies a year. So it shows that this novel is very interesting, very something, very, you see, important, and more than, you see, twice in its original, you see, sale. And we can say that has assured somehow Gatsby, you see, he is command of a larger audience that is clearer, you see, understanding the author's achievement. Here, I want to draw your attention to this point that you see, many critics have assumed, we can search, you see, here and that Gatsby is not, let's say, an uncritical study of manners during the Jazz Age. I will also talk briefly about, you see, the Jazz Age. It is somehow an analysis of, I think that it is, you see, an idea. We have to respect, you see, such ideas, you see, as well, since in the world of art and the world based on some, you see, some ideas, there is not any, you see, limitation. As for, you see, the postmodernist, it is how multidimensional. So for this, you see, reason, not going that those critics somehow assumed things, you see, wrongly. No, but I'm here, you see, stating my own, you see, ideas. Analysis of you see, the failure of the Jazz Age, because it wants to somehow make some significant and some see, everlasting, or at least lasting, you see, values. Regarding the personal, some, you see, ambivalence towards wealth, Fitzgerald, you see, achieved in this novel, that is, you see, Gatsby, enough somehow detachment to expose the disease corrupting the social and even moral fiber of the American, you see, spirit. This is very important, yeah, exposing this disease somehow, because very often, see, in different societies, even nowadays, it is clear and evidence, and we can see it in different, you see, societies. The politicians, especially, try not to expose the problems and the disease of the society, whether it is political, it is, you see, social, it is economical, it is moral. But such novels, because of the commitment of the authors, their responsibility toward, you see, the society, toward man, toward human being, toward nature, toward their, you see, environment, try to show, you see, such problems to people, and try to settle everything, you see, for the calmness of the societies and for the peace of the societies. And we know that Gatsby in this, you see, novel is laid somehow down deep in the, let's say, you see, his own imagination. Hmm? Uh, because of, let's say, you see, his dream of material success. So, according to the moralist, we see that this is not merely success, since an absolute, you see, success occurred within man himself. For the other some people, sacrificing some of themselves for the other people, not merely, maybe it is a very good success, I'm not going to ignore it, but we have to pay attention to the other values, you see, as well. Gatsby somehow, you see, succumbed himself to see his own fantasies, and equating somehow present with, you see, past, and love, you see, with wealth. When he somehow has some ceremonies in his, let's say, palace, he thinks that with, you see, the people with very polished, you see, shoes, ties, looks like, you see, gentlemen, with very, you see, wealthy people, that every week they present this some wealthy parties. You see that he has equated, you see, everything, even love with wealth. Now look at, you see, this idea, whether it is, you see, a good one for men to somehow gamble, let's say, or play, you see, such things, such valuable, you see, notions like love, like, you see, respect, you see, to the others. These are actually those personal achievements or personal, you see, gifts. Gatsby, in this, you see, regard, somehow can also, you see, symbolize American enslaved, as you see, somewhere Fitzgerald, you see, mentioned this service of a vast and vulgar and some vulgar, let's say, you see, beauties. And we see that in Gatsby's disillusions. Sometimes we know what the realities somehow are. We know what truth is, but we are engaged with illusions. So Gatsby's disillusion and Gatsby's defeat, as Fitzgerald illustrates it, is somehow that disease I mentioned. That fever within him, and actually in the society, since it is somehow an image of or let's say perfect image of the society that is going to burn away spiritual strength of so many people in America. And now it can, as I said, can be seen everywhere in the world, Western countries or Eastern countries, that uh, people do not try to achieve this spiritual strength in their life. Uh, actually, it is clear, as I said, it is an attack toward those, conventional values in a society, criticizing, those values in societies. It opens, the novel Gatsby, rather than, shuts the door to change. This changing also, uh, very often there's not, a care in societies. Maybe those, authorities of the societies or the leaders, of the societies do not favor such changes in societies. So they insist on their own rules, on their own, ideas. Uh, Nick, as the narrator in this story, his awareness of this kind of defeat, or this kind of uh, disillusions, this kind of destructiveness in the society, and also is aware of Gatsby's blindness offering hope. And when we move forward toward, the end of this novel, we see that Nick, the narrator, is achieving, maturity, understand lots of things, finds his own enlightenment. And if this happens among, all the characters, all the people, of the world, finding these spiritual, values, understanding the reality and the fantasies, in the world, they can achieve this sort of, achievement or enlightenment. Like, for example, think that or imagine that we are in a very dense jungle with lots of trees and lots of bushes. Nothing is clear. We think that we know the way. We get out of this area, but after a while, when we come to a very wide place without these long and tall trees, then we find the truth. We see all the passages here. Enlightenment is something like this. So we know that here at the end, like Nick Carraway, he stands free of his illusions. But at the beginning, when he is looking at different situations and different events of the story, you see that somehow he is entangled with all these, illusions. But at the end, he stands free of such illusions. And he is also yet capable of, his compassion. He, as the narrator or as observer, in this novel, he, after this, maturity, step by step, it is clear that he can never become a person like Gatsby, or even, worse than Gatsby, or a character like, Tom, or even the other characters, like Daisy. He cannot actually. Because of what? Because of freeing himself of all these, fantasies, freeing himself of all these obscurities, freeing himself of all these, illusions. We can say that, as some critics said, the Great Gatsby, somehow they believe that dramatizes the weathering of the American, dream. I think that even if it is right, I'm not going to tell that it is wrong. No, never. In the world of literature, it does not happen. But based on, some logics, based on, the events, and many other, factors, I want to say that it also offers a more, alternative, to it. Neither, the plot nor the characterization in this novel cannot say that they are somehow, outstanding. No. They are somehow like some other, writers, as the elements, of, let's say, the melodrama, that more, the narrative and the characters also are too foreshortened to possess, such a depth somehow. But what distinguishes this novel, and as an exception, as a masterpiece, is the author's selective techniques, creatively. Here we have, Nick Carraway as an outside, observer. This is a very good, idea that Fitzgerald applied it in this novel. The portrait that is made by this character, the way that he is looking at the other characters, the way that he is narrating different situations, and even, creating lots of, suspenses through the novel. So we can say that for these techniques, Fitzgerald is an exception, and that's why admired and praised by many, critics, by many, writers. Even the mood and the tone, the characters, the symbols, I don't know, the images he has used in the novel to produce such an exceptional, say, quality for his whole work. Then we can say that for these reasons, the Great Gatsby somehow appeared. It emerged, as one of the, let's say, great fables in the 20th century that has survived